learned that goats are really environmentally friendly ways that I could have my apiary cleared, and then I tried to hire somebody and there wasn't anybody to hire. So I went down the rabbit hole, quit my corporate job in 2019 and started Goatscaping promptly, like right before the pandemic. So I quit my job in 2019 and then the pandemic started in December and it started in like March, right? So it was like, okay kids, you're all in because there's no back, like we burned the boats. It was goats, it was. So I want to quickly kind of tie in how Goatscaping can potentially help farms that either have land or have goats or have local goat farmers that they can partner with, because it's a perfect marriage, and we're kind of living proof of that. So essentially Goatscaping is taking goats into properties that have overgrowth of either invasive plants or problematic plants and letting goats do what they do best, which is eat. When goats eat, they sterilize everything that they're eating so that those plants can't reproduce from their waste. Meaning if you've got a problem plant or an invasive plant and you go in and mow it or trim it, any farmer knows you've now spread out all the seeds. A goat will come in and eat all the top growth. Any of the seeds or reproductive matter in the plant is mitigated through their digestive process. They're leaving the soil in better condition, so they're fertilizing the soil, but not with all that seeds and reproductive matter. There's still a seed bank, okay? Goats are not a silver bullet, but when you're taking a look at comparing like heavy equipment, trimming, mowing, things like that, goats over a 5-year period are going to end up being a lower cost alternative for almost anybody that's managing land, and that goes for your towns, your parks, your state parks, your federal parks. So you've got sheep, same thing. Sheep are a little bit, all right, I'm partial to goats. Sheep are wonderful. Sheep eat with their heads down, so they're really good lawn mowers. Goats eat with their heads up, so they're really good brush clearers. Some people run them together. I stay away from sheep. Sheep are not the most self-determined, and so they're a little bit harder to manage in my perspective. Some people think goats are obnoxious and wild and crazy, and so they go to sheep. So like it's really about personal preference. This is our website, it's letsgobuffalo.com. I only pulled it up because I feel like people need pictures. So essentially what we're doing is we're taking a group of goats to a property that has invasive or problematic growth. We're putting up an electric fence around the area that we need gone, and then we're charging that electric fence with a portable solar unit. We're putting our goats inside the fence with everything that they need, water, sometimes shelter, but by shelter we mean like tarps, like things that are very simple, because goats are made to live outside pretty much as long as the weather's warm. And we let them do what they are supposed to do. I can't see this over here, so I have to like look up here while I do this. Here's an example of one of our temporary shelters. This is a goat bus that we used for a number of years. The back end of the bus was a goat barn and the front end was actually outfitted for people. So there's a lot of different ways that you can do that. Now that we have the care farm and we're so location based, we just use horse trailers. We load them up, we take them over, we set them up. The primary work that really works well for care farming participants is the setting up of the job, the observation of the job, and then breaking down of the job. Particularly the observation piece is awesome because you're doing the care of the animals, you're making sure that they have their care needs met, you're talking to the public, you're teaching about what goatscaping is, and it's not necessarily labor intensive. So you may be completely immobile as far as your walking or ability to be moving, but if you can engage with the public, this is a really awesome stewardship opportunity for just about everybody, and then you can kind of scaffold the skills that are needed for the other parts of the job or pair them with someone who's going to be taking care of some of the other stuff. I'm trying to get up to our gallery so I can show you what this looks like. Long story short, the reason why I jumped into this, I have like 5 minutes, which is tough here, is that this is a revenue stream that I feel like works really well. Our jobs, so like for example, this job on the left, this is a residential property. This was 1 week. That shot that you see right there was 1 day. So they move really fast, they cover a lot of land, it's really attractive to landowners. If you're bringing in a company to clear land, you're paying big bucks. Like I found this because I couldn't afford to hire a landscaper to clear my apiary, and I could afford like the goats. So we charge $1,500 for that job right there. That's for 4 or 5 days. So it's like a significant amount. If we're doing something that is larger, so this was in a conservation near us, this is Japanese knotweed before and after. This is a super difficult plant that most of our northeastern states are really struggling with. If we go into a public job where we're managing the public, we're in a park, we're in a public setting, we charge $2,500 a week. So if you take a look at that, depending on how you want to scale, if you've already got goats and all you want to do is take on a couple of jobs per year, you've already brought in 5-10 grand just by doing maybe 2 to 4 jobs. Or you could scale it up because you now have a social enterprise that you really want to hire your folks that are coming through maybe your pre-voc or your voc programs, and you can run it more like a business. You can kind of come and go. You don't have to run a business. If you have goats, you could say, all right, we're going to go after one contract with one park that we get really good at, where we know the people, and we're going to work with our local, maybe DDSO, and we're going to bring the people together and have this job get started to finish. I would say start with small, go with pilots. Do not go straight into county or state or federal contracts. That's what I did. It's great for learning, but let us teach you the stuff that you need to know. We give it away for free. Don't learn it the hard way. That was really scary. Start with your local small contracts, start with a friend's backyard, and then kind of grow from there. What you really need for startup, because I feel like that's one of the big questions, is you have access to goats. We use all rescued animals. All of our animals are rescues. They're all animals that would not be with us still. So they're either throwaway, discarded, a lot of post-production dairy goats that just need a place to go. And then the startup costs will include your fencing, your trailering, your water buckets, some basic medical needs, and then it's always really great to build a good relationship with a local veterinarian so that you're providing the services in an ethical way. We do have some standards up where we are. I was the first goatscaping company in the region. We now have like 5 or 6 just in our tri-county area. It's perfectly fine. There's no reason not to give it all away because there's enough contracts for all of these people to still have a waiting list. So the market is huge right now. For that reason, resources are easy to get, but we also then have to be really careful to make sure that we're putting in ethical practices and some standards of care and operation for both the animals and the people that we're working with from a care permit perspective. So if you want that information, you can shoot me an email through Let's Go Buffalo and we can get that to you. That's my wrap-up sign, so now we can open up to questions.